Welcome back to Learning with Mr. Carvajal. In today's video, we're going to be converting base 10 fractions to decimals, decimals to fractions that are in base 10 system. This is different than converting any type of fraction, which we'll cover in a different video. To convert any fraction to a decimal, we divide numerators by the denominator, and then if you have a mixed number, the whole number just stays to the left of the decimal. But that's more advanced, and it will be covered in a different video. For today, we are focusing on base 10 fractions. Base 10 fractions are any fraction that ends in a tenth, hundredth, thousandth, which are the place value systems. The place value in your place value chart, you have your decimal point, and then to the right you have your tenths, your hundredths, and thousandths, 10,000ths. Okay? So again, base 10 fractions are going to be any fractions that end in a tenth, hundredth, or thousandths. Now, we're going to first change decimals to fractions. So we'll begin with, let's do 3/10. 3/10. So the steps that you're going to follow are the following. First, drop a 1 underneath the decimal point. So underneath the decimal point, I'm going to rewrite this over to the left. There's my decimal point, and there's my 3. Okay, so underneath the decimal point, I'm rewriting, after I rewrote it, there's a 1. Drop a 1 underneath the decimal point. Next, fill in a 0 below every digit to the right of the decimal point. So I only have 1 digit to the right, so I only need 1 0. Next, roll out the decimal point into a fraction bar. So think about that decimal point being stretched out into a fraction bar. And you have just converted a decimal to a fraction. 3/10 written as 3/10. How you say it is how you write it as a decimal. And this is remembering your place values. Okay. Next, we're going to be changing. Let's do 39 hundredths. So 39 hundredths, we're going to simply rewrite the 39 hundredths. Again, drop a 1 underneath the decimal point. Next, fill in a 0 below every digit to the right of the decimal point. So there is 1 digit, 2 digits to the right of the decimal point. Roll out the decimal point into a fraction bar. And there it is. 39 hundredths is equal to 39 hundredths. How you say it is how you write it. Okay. One last example we're going to do. Let's write 5 hundredths. So 5 hundredths, I'm going to rewrite it over here on the left. 5 hundredths. Okay. Drop a 1 under the decimal point. Then write a 0 under every digit to the right of the decimal point. Next, roll out your fraction bar from the decimal point, and you have 5 hundredths. Now, you really do not need that extra 0 there. You can leave it there, or you can erase it. It's not going to change the value of it. Okay. So that's 5 hundredths. Okay. Let's work the other direction. Let's start with a fraction. We start with 3/10. And we want to rewrite this as a decimal. So by remembering my place value, my place value, I know there is a decimal. There's my ones. Then I have my tenths. And then I have my hundredths. How you say it is how you write it, okay? So the digit 3 is going to be written in the tenths place value. Okay? So the denominator in this example, the denominator is my place value, and my numerator is the digit that I'm going to place in there. So the digit 3 will be placed in the tenths place value. Okay? Now, if there's any spaces to the left of the decimal point, they can be filled in with zeros. They can be left blank. Okay. I'll do one more example. I'm going to erase this. And this time I want to do 300ths. Now, hundredths is the place value, and the digit 3 will be placed in the hundredths spot. Now, in this example, there is a blank space between the decimal point and that digit 3. That needs to be filled in with a 0. Anytime you have any spaces between the decimal point and the digit, they get filled in with a 0. So that's 300ths. Okay? This is how you say it, is how you write it, using the place value chart. Okay? We're going to do one more example. This time I'm going to have 79 tenths. In this example, I have an improper fraction, 79 tenths. 79 is larger than 10, which tells me I actually have more than one whole. Now, as I write this, here are my ones. These are my tenths. And then I have my hundredths. And I think there's a typo there, misspelled. Okay, hundredths. Now, remember, I am looking for the tenths place, which is this one here. So my 79 needs to finish in the tenths place. I cannot write two digits in the same place value. I actually have to carry one of them over to the left. So 79 tenths, by carrying that 7 over, is 7 wholes and 9 tenths. And last example that we're going to do is anytime that you're converting fractions, decimals to fractions, if you have a whole number, the whole number stays in place. You are simply converting the fraction. Okay, so 2 and 3/10. Let's do 2 and 3900ths instead. 2 and 3900ths. So remember, you're rewriting the decimal portion of it. The two wholes, my two ones, my two wholes stay the same. That is not going to be changed. What we're converting is the decimal portion of this, the 3900ths. So I'm going to rewrite my 3900ths. My 3900ths. The first thing I do is drop a 1 underneath the decimal point, fill in zeros for every digit to the right, and lastly roll out my decimal point. And that's 2 wholes and 39 hundredths. Same thing if I was going to be going in the opposite direction. Now I'm doing a fraction, 2 wholes and 69 hundredths. I have my place value chart. These are my ones, my tenths, and hundredths. I have 2 wholes and 69 hundredths. I'm going to write the fraction part first. My hundredths, 69 hundredths, and then my 2 wholes are my 2 ones.